Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a woman ask you a question that felt random? Like, why aren't you married? Or do you date younger women? You probably she was woman just making conversation, but here's the truth. She was testing water quite likely carefully. And if you didn't, notice shine it is that you didn't. This video is for older men we're still out there dating, connecting, maybe starting over and want to understand how attraction finally appears at this stage of life because after a certain age, flirting doesn't look like it used to. It's quieter. It's smarter. It's disguised as curiosity dot, and if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it entirely today. We're breaking down 7 subtle questions men ask when they're secret light. Understand how your response can either open the door or close it without even realizing. This isn't about pickup linus or charm. It's about presence emotional confidence. So, if you've ever walked away thinking should seem nice but probably wasn't in tone, you should watch this one all the way through how old are you? Let's get into it. Number 1, how old are you? Really, when a woman looks at a man and asks, how old are you? Really, she's rarely just looking for a number. It's not a math test, it's an emotional calibration. She wants to know your agent, your relationship with it. Are you hiding from it, apologizing for it, or are you at ease in your skin? Unshaken by time, this question is subtle, often playful, synonymous flirtatious, but always layered. Because for many women age aisles is about numbers and more about energy. Watches trying to sense is, are you present and alive in this moment? Or are you agreeing the weight of regret, comparison, or insecurity about where you shall be by now? A man will meets this question with humor and self-possession tells her more about himself than he may realize. She her self-acceptance. If Hess is older than I look, younger than I feel. With a calm smile and no trace of performance, share its confidence. If he answers directly without over-explaining her, trying to downplay the number, but I flinches, gets defensive, or tries to impress with how youthful he acts. She insists something's often not in his presence of beauty in his relationship to it. Women are not repelled by age, they're repelled vision. What draws them in is presents the man who owns his story, the years he's lived, the lessons he's learned. It's the man who doesn't try to live his 20 IEs or compete with younger men, but instead brings the richness of experience into every conversation with needing to boast about it. Agabic servant when the man before her radiates grounded energy. Emotional major post ethos doesn't mean pretending time hasn't passed. It means being at peace with how it has shaped you, because a man who is at ease with who he is, gray hairs, scarce wit, wisdom and dull is a man who give us off emotional safety, permits a woman to emotional safety, soften trust, and lean in. So when she asks, how old are you? Really, don't just hear it as a curiosity. Hear it as an invitation. She's asking if you can meet her and that present fully on its land without pretending. To be Simeon, you're not Amen who answers that call without fear of performance. Immediately stands out not because of how many birthdays he's had, but because of how deeply he's lived through them. Because in the end, it's not youth that attracts her, it's aliveness, and that has nothing to do with your birth year, and a very thing to do with how you carry it. Number 2, why aren't you married? When a woman asks, why aren't you married? She may deliver it with a smile, a teasing tone, or quiet curiosity. But beneath the surface, it's never really about the pork. It's a layered question dish. A casual conversation. Watch, she's truly searching for insight into your emotional bit with the liddish. Wants to know, are you open or hiding behind old wounds? Is there space in your life, not just logistically, but emotionally for someone new? Most men hear the question and are urged to deafen, explain, or justify. Some might respond with cynicism, brushing off relationships altogether as a hassle or a trap. Others might retreat into self-deprecation or say just unlucky, I guess, but what she's listening for is dire marital status. It's your state hash grown from the past. Or is he still stuck in it? The most powerful way to respond isn't to give a timeline or arrogant fulfilled story. It's to shower gently that your emotional landscape is uncluttered, that the past has taught Yabbit no longer controls you. A cam-com. Grounded man might say there was a time I thought I would bub you. Life had other plans. I've learned a lot about and I'm open to something real when it's right. That kind of answer doesn't just sound healthy. It feels healthy. It's a just forward motion, and that's what she's scanning for, because women don't want to walk into a man's life only to become a placeholder for what he lost or worse. A battleground for what he hasn't resolved. Emotional availability is not about saying I'm ready. It's about showing your energy tone and emotional presence when you speak of the past. Do you talk with bitterness, sarcasm, or subtle blame? Or do you say to a man who has integrated the experience and move forward with quiet strength of more? Then your words, your relationship with your own story is what reads. She's not just curious about where you're not married. She's assessing if you've met at peace with your path. If you carry yourself like someone proving he doesn't need anyone, or if you've reassured a place where connection would complement your life. Do not complete it emotionally available and emotionally available. Man doesn't trust to explain himself. He doesn't form optimism, nor does he wallow with past. He owns his path. He sees it as part of what shaped him, not what defines him. And in doing so, he communicated something far more valuable than relationship history readiness without aspirations. When she's the question again or saw a thing like it, remember she's not a sting. Your relationship realm. She's shredding the emotional air around your enter. Let it reflect steadiness. Let it reflect maturity. Most importantly, let it reflect a man with space for something meaningful, because that's what she's asking, honestly. Number 3, do you date younger women? When she asks, do you date younger women? What she's saying isn't about age at all. Behind those simple words lies a question of ability. A subtle hint that she wonders if there's room for more than friendship and spoken. Invitation is not merely an inquiry into your dating habits, but a moment of vulnerability in which she tests whether you can connect on a level that transcends superficial measures like age. In her question, there is an unspoken invitation. She asks if you are willing to see her not as a friend or just an acquaintance, but as someone who might set your heart racing and ignite your creative energy. Age becomes secondary hen. There's genuine chemistry when asparag of energy transforms ordinary intentions into moments of profound connections. As curious to see if you value vitality, passion, and the excitement of a dynamic crescent over mirror numbers. This moment often reveals more about youth than any direct declaration could frame, who understands that real connection is born of shared energy and authentic chemistry rather than societal expectations. Question is an opportunity to this. Question is an opportunity. Invite her deeper into your world. It isn't about chasing youth or following trends, but about embracing the mindset that prizes life, inspiration, and the mutable dance of attraction. When you acknowledge the sentiment behind her words, you show that you're flexibly forming bonds that exceed the conventional boundaries of age. Your response becomes a mirror of your inner energy. If you answer with a dry recitation of past dating patterns, yet close the possibility of genuine intimacy. Instead, if you respond with warmth and understanding parse, saying something like, I'm more interested in the vibe we create together than anything else, you reveal that you value chemistry's unpredictably in nature. Such a response will validate her feelings and invite her into a conversation that honors her individuality and the shared magic that arises when two people truly connect. Thunder lame tre. is that attraction is not confinetto what society deems acceptable or conventional way. Flexible approach to dating reflects a broader openness to experience and a commitment to living with passion. It shows that you're willing to invest in a connection where emotions and ensurements matter far more than any pretended can. A man is attuned to business subtleties and responds with genuine self-assurance. He creates a safe space where a woman feels seen and valued as more than just a friend. In embracing this perspective, you validate her internal question and demonstrate that you believe in the power of authentic connection. The vibrancy of shared energy and the flow of natural chemistry become foundation upon which meaningful relations are built, transcending any arbitrary measure of age. And when the connection is real, the numerical details fade into the background, replaced by an enduring sense of partnership and mutual inspiration. Boom. For what kind of woman do you usually go for? It sounds like a casual question that might slip easily into early conversation over coffee or during quiet walk, but beneath
Do you usually go?
It carries emotional weight.
She's
When
not
a
just
woman
curious
asks,
about what kind of woman.
Do you go for your past? She's assessing whether she fits into your present desires and potentially your future. It's a moment where she wants to feel seen, but not evaluated, heard, but not compared. Mosman answer this question either too broadly or too literally. They list vague traits, kind, funny, smart, or worse. They describe Simeon physically noising. How quick with it can shift the tone of the interaction from intimate to transactional. What she's asking is anything more profound. Am I a kind of woman a man like you values, and how your spin will either pull her closer or push her into subtle retreat? This is an opportunity to rise above the advice or reduce the answer to checklist speak, to qualities that reflect emotional depth and lived experience. Say tend to be drawn to women who are thoughtful, who see through things to me own, who can more easily but also sit in stones with it, needing to fill it. You speak this way. You're doing clothing first. You signal, but you're not speak to qualities that reflect emotional depth. Shall or reactive. You're not swayed by surface, level attraction alone. You react into a woman's essence. Second, you invite her to feel emotionally safe. You show that what you're looking for can't be measured by appearance alone, but by some nothing more personal. How Simeon makes you feel, how they show up, how they carry their moments. It's not about giving a rehearsed answer. It's about being present and reflective. If you've had real experiences with women who moved you, speak from that chair how curiosity or emotional depth through you in more than looks ever can let her see that what captures your attention is not what fades but deepens. You can even add a gentle turn to the conversation. We do. You ask. This doesn't deflect a child's confidence. It allows her to reveal her curiosity without putting her on the spot. Often she's fishing for reassurance, value, character over category, is what's saying it directly. And when you speak to values and connection instead of categories and types, she'll feel it, because women don't want to feel like they are being measured against passovers or mental templates. They want to feel like this moment matters, that who they are right now is enough to be honest, appreciated, and possible ironbird. When you handle that question with quiet clarity and honest reflection, you offer something rare. A glimpse into your emotional world paired with thy strength, not to posture or impress in a dating culture driven by appearance and quick judgment. Choosing to value Ecker actor over categories is refreshing and magnetic not. Just asking what you want, just listening to how deeply you feel, and if your answer reflects real thought-grounded presence and appreciation for more than just beauty, she feels safer, more open, and more drawn to explore what comes next. Number 5. Are you always this charming at first glance? It sounds like a playful compliment. A sweet remark tossed with a smile that could mean anything or nothing. But when a woman asks, are you always this charming? Are you always this charming? There's a hidden current beneath the surface. She's not just admiring your confidence or humor. She's testing something deeper. Is this a spark that burns consistently or just a momentary flicker? And she trusts that what she's procuring is real. Or is it just another rehearsed performance? The skinned of comment often comes when the emotional energy feels. Light may be off inflictious, but beneath her words liquidate questions. There. Substance bend the style, and that's where men miss the mark. They either deflect the compliment to quickly joke it away, or double down on trying to impress. But what she's looking for isn't more charm. She's looking for a moment of grounded sincerity. A brief glimpse of what she's feeling is mutual fit or skilled at connection and genuinely present within it. The core trust bones doesn't come from a script. It comes from emotional awareness. You don't need to answer her question with a cleaver line. You can meet her energy with a relaxed smile, eye contact, and something simple likely with people will actually get it. That reply says, yes, there's charm here, but it's not for Ariel, and you brought this out of me. Suddenly, the moment becomes personal. It's not for a very own and real. It tells her she's not just on their receiving end of charisma. She's participating in its creation. And that changes everything, because what women long for isn't just to be entertained or impressed. They want to feel seen. When she asks if you're always this way, she's not asking for a resume of how well you'll flirt. She's asking if she is part of something rare and meaningful in your presence. If you're spent with ground warmth, not performance, you create that emotional safety. Many overlook charm without presence fades quickly, but charm is grounded in awareness of your suffer and the moment that lingers. That is skin of interaction she replaced later, not because it was perfect, but because it felt real when you carry yourself with self-assurance and dress without needing to escalate or impress. You signal something rare consistency. You're not here to Chaz's reactions. You're here because you enjoy the moment, and that makes the moment enjoyable for her too. So the next time a woman says, "Are you always this charming?" hear the more profound message. She's not asking for performance, she's an inviting presence. And the man who knows how to stay grounded in that moment doesn't just attract her attention. Her curiosity, and from curiosity, a genuine connection begins. Number 6. Why don't you have a girlfriend? It may sound casual, playful, Evan, but when a woman asks at a man, why don't you have a girlfriend? She isn't simply filling desolence or making small talk beneath the surface. She's probing for something more. Profound. She wants to know if his heart is still open, if he's emotionally available, if hell believes in W House. He's built emotional walls that quietly warn her to stay out. This question isn't really about his dating history. It's about how his emotional present. A defensive answer. Women just aren't worth the trouble. Or I've been focusing on myself can feel like distance. It signals he's close to fee if he doesn't mean to be. And yet a meaningful spaceman who answers with ground warmth shifts the entire tone of the conversation if he can say something like, I've taken time to grow and understand what I really want. He is no longer avoiding subject, inviting her into a meaningful space. What women seeking that is less about explanation and more about emotional temperature. Is this a man who's bitter or better from his past? Does he carry heartbreak like Ashel? Or has he done the work off reflection, growth, and quiet optimism? The road tells her what kind of future Ash might be stepping into. Women are drawn to men who carry past experience with grace, not resentment. Amen. Who can acknowledge that he's been through things, yet still holds space for connection, signals emotional maturity. Attractive, not because he's perfect, but because he hasn't let imperfection hurt him. He's been through taught us that point without becoming jotted. His lift without losing his openness. Truth, as most men want to pay each truth understood, but they often miss moments like these when a woman offers a soft doorway, Into something tangible shadow want to interrogate. She wants to feel his truth, and she wants to feel safe in it when a man responds with sincere itty-whiffed. Over-explaining without posture in Jet draws her closer. It creates an intimacy of vulnerability, not weakness, but grounded self-awareness, isn't ashamed of being single. He isn't trying to convince her of his worth. He's simply showing who he is and where Heston's. And in a world full of emotional noise, that kind of clarity stands out. So when she asks, why don't you have a girlfriend? Don't rush to defend or impress. Taking a breath, smile, offer her the truth that reveals not just of Ben, but where you're willing to go, because that's what she's listening for. Not just your past, but your readiness for something real. Number 7. Would you ever date someone like me on the surface? It sounds like aptly full, even casual question. Would you ever date someone like me? But beneath that light tone is something far more revealing and threatening. She's not just asking about compatibility. She's testing emotional ground. Emotional ground. She's reaching out with a quiet vulnerability, hoping to hear something that confirms she's seen wanted and not being misread. It's her way of asking, is this real? A man who understands the emotional layer behind this question doesn't jump to overanalyze her. Fumble for the cleverest response. Slows down. I feels the question, not just hears it, because what she needs isn't performance site sincerity. It's reassurance without aspiration, presents without pressure, isn't the time to joke it off or dodge. With sarcasm, it's enough time to posture, to say something's self-irving, or to twist it into a power play. It's a minimum of quiet honesty, a simple. Truth can easily express more than 100 perfect liney. Think I'd be lucky if I could. Isn't silence just a compliment? It reflects grounded interest, its self-role, and its query hidden agenda. What happens next is just as important. Allow silence. Let the melon. Don't rush to fill the space here. Explain more than you need to pauses. Powerful because it signals that you're comfortable with emotion here, not scrambling to fix or manage a reaction. You're just being there with her, and that's what makes the interaction. Feel emotionally safe. Womanist in ways that are often indirect and manipulate, but to protect their emotional investment. When she asks a question like this, she wants to feel that her curiosity didn't cost her. Dignity you saw through the question until the human behind it, and let her fear. Without judgment, that create emotional gravity in a world where a mossman either tried too hard to impress her, retreat into indifference. The Manuel can meet moments like this with quiet. Clarity stands out, not for being loud, but for being true, for showing here a fetch, doesn't have to disguise. Her longing and irony are game, she can just ask, and you won't use it against her, you won't mock. The vulnerability respond with equal courage, and that crush doesn't have to big or poetic, it just has to be real. Becca's sometimes asks these simplest things like saying, yeah, I would, and meaning. It can change everything about how she sees you. Your no. Longer a possibility. Yep, come a presence, Ian. Who did it make her regret opening the door just a little? So when you hear, would you ever date someone like me? Don't treat it like a trap. Treat it like a gift, a small moment when her guard drops, she offers you a glimpse of her hope. Respond with truth. Let it brand. Understand that in Thossaquiet texts, connection grows faster than any performance. What we've explored today isn't just about learning how women communicate interest, it's about learning how to listen beneath the surface. Truly, as men grow older, the rules of connection change. Women are no longer broadcasting, tracked with bold, youthful flirtation. Instead, they offer softer invitations, subtle questions, and gentler cues that say, I'm open. If you are prescient enough to notice these quiet questions, Sarah tests in the manipulative, sensitive, reflect a deeper emotional language at value. Safety, presence, and sincerity of her. Smooth lines or grand gestures. Each question is an opportunity. An invitation to connect not just as a man, but as a grounded human being who is still emotionally available, curious, and open to love. And here's the truth. If you and the truth need to be younger, louder, or more impressive, you simply need to be aware when a woman asks, "Why aren't you married?" or leans in with a quiet smile. She's not playing games. She's offering element of trust. What matters most is how you receive it. Respond not with defenses, but with clarity and calm. Even without saying much, let her know that you see her in it. You can still see yourself if you've ever walked away from a conversation wondering whether it means something. Maybe now you know it probably did. These are not just small talk moments. They're gentle openings in the matter. This video gave you a new perspective on the hidden language of connection. If you've had experience like this, moments where you missed a cure, recognize one just in time, would love it or hear about it. Your story might help another man feel less alone and more prepared. Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Thank you.